fans. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Where you to this music? Right there. Perfect. Y'all see the red popping? I don't want to see my red popping. What's up? What's up? Hubby about to come in. Y'all know he likes this music. I don't really care, but you know he does. So let's jump right in it. Chapter 2. If y'all don't have the book, guys, definitely go and get the book. It's something that, for one, is bringing you and your spouse closer. What's up? What's up? It's something that, for two, is bringing y'all time together on a daily basis. So for the next however many days, what are we doing this for? How many chapters? I don't even know how many chapters this book has. 17 chapters. So let's just say for 17, or let's put that in half. Let's say for 7 and 7 is 14. For about 8 weeks, guys, if I'm doing my math right. Because it's 2. Oh, no, it's probably less than that because we're doing 3 a week. You're going to be devoted to your spouse time. And one of the chapters, this chapter we actually read, goes into having everyday devotion time to your spouse. I don't want to, I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to get right into it, guys, in the aspect of the time. Because I understand some of us are like, oh, I have, I work 2 jobs. We have different schedules. You don't understand. He's not at home. I'm always busy. Maybe it's easier for you because you work from home. Maybe because of this, because of that, because of blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Your marriage is priority. We have to figure this out. The same reason we figure other things out, especially us wives, the same way we have to find a way to spend that time with our spouse. And this book talks about daily. Chapter 2 went into daily time with your spouse. Some of us are struggling with a once a week date. Once a week, once a month. This is daily, 30 to 2 hours daily with your spouse. I know 2 hours is a lot for some of y'all. But 30 minutes? Uh-oh. I like this song, babe. I don't own the rest of this song. But 30 minutes, guys? There's days, let me tell y'all. There's days that I hop in the shower with Brandon. I'm hopping in that bad boy. Because I'm getting that time. You know what I'm saying? There's days that, now we're reading together. There's days that he'll be cooking and I'll go in there and what can I help you with? Or I'll go in and just sit and talk with him. Because he's okay with that. Or I'll do a TikTok. Or I'll do a video. Time together and not on the phones together. Time together, right? So let's jump in chapter 2, guys. I just had to get that out of the way. We're hoping this is bringing y'all closer. We're hoping this is bringing y'all together. There he goes, Mr. B in the building.
What's going on, everybody?
Barker boy in the Barker man. That's a man right there. Look at that. He got the whole hair flowing, the whole curls popping. Got the Barker in the building. Lips is looking juicy. I see you. So, what's up, babe?
I'm turning the music down.
Is it loud? It's not loud.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, cool.
That was good. Chapter 2, Finding God's Design. This chapter right here, guys, it's long. I actually was we might need to do 2 days on this. I didn't even tell Brandon that, but it's actually really long, and I don't want to just pass certain pieces.
Yeah, because it's very important, especially when it's speaking on God, right?
God's design. So we might, maybe Brandon, kind of agrees. We might do Friday on the second half, because this is literally 1, 2. We were reading it last night, and I was like, yo, you still reading?
Yeah. Well, I was
3,
reading, and it was
4,
late, so I was falling asleep.
5, 6. So it's 6 pages. So we might do 3 and 3, depending on how the speed goes. But it was a really important chapter. So we want y'all to chime in. Intended. Finding God's Design, babe.
Can I go over to what happened to me today?
What happened to you
With
today?
the experience of the guy who's been married 50 years.
Does that have to do with this?
No.
Okay, so maybe you could just write it down and we could talk about it another day.
All right.
So finding God's love. But it was good. It was juicy stuff that he has for y'all guys, but we're not going to say it. So y'all got to keep tapping in. Tap in. You want me to start or you starting?
You can go ahead and start.
So Finding God's Design, first paragraph, Finding God's Design. Everything that happens in a marriage has its effect on the love-making experience. Okay, so when he read this to me, I was like, what? It just went right in. Everything that happens in a marriage has its effect on love-making experience. What is that? What do you think of that? Because I didn't understand that. I'm just real with y'all.
I think far as just like the attitude, the environment, the energy, the stress, the non-stress, the pressure.
So let me
Go ahead.
Let me read how it got to that, because I know we didn't highlight it, but let me just read the first sentence how chapter 2 starts.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So chapter 2 starts with, he didn't highlight it, but just listen. Many of you who are seeking sexual fulfillment in your marriage realize that mastery of physical techniques is only part of the answer. Despite the claims of sex manuals, a couple cannot separate sex from the rest of the marriage. That was it, right? Perfecting it and then isolating it as it were in an airtight compartment to be used when desired. Do y'all hear that? Perfecting it and then isolating it. In other words, not separating it. So we're not going to separate sex in a marriage. We're not going to separate when it's good and not good, when it's convenient and not convenient, right? That's what I'm thinking. So that's when you said your part with the lovemaking. So then we go down. I just wanted to kind of start that off, right? When we go down, it says sometimes a brief meeting with the minister before the wedding, then an often elaborate ceremony, and the newlyweds are on their own to hit or miss in their quest for happiness, while family and friends hope for the best. So what do you think? Well, how we get into this? Because it talks about finding God's design. It says some people, they just have a little quick meeting with the pastor right before the marriage, go and get married. The people are there celebrating. You're hoping it's going to be a happily ever after marriage, and that's it, right?
So what I get from this? I get from this that a lot of people before marriage do not seek counsel with prepare and don't know what to expect with marriage, which I understand that's a part of marriage a little bit, but at the same time, before you go into any situation, don't you want to be a little advised on how the situation can play out or cannot play out, right? So a lot of people, they don't seek that. And I noticed that, like, usually in the dating phase between, when you're dating, your girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, usually on the man part, if we want to ask, like, one of our homeboys that's been married, we'll ask them separately. We won't ask them with our girlfriend, you know what I mean? We'd be like, hey, man, so how's the married life? Like, how do you be married so long? Or, does sex get boring after a while? Or, what goes on, how do you deal with stuff that you just don't like and she does anyway? And we never take the time out to go as a couple
to talk about certain topics.
So
this is good, because when we don't do that, we get into the marriage, and this is what we've seen in a lot of situations. You get into the marriage, you get into a situation where you're telling other people or your spouse that you're not getting along with something that you're not getting along with because y'all never really got into it. I've seen many cases. As a matter of fact, I've seen one of the biggest thing that I've seen as a therapist is when you have a child, the wife wants to stay home and the husband is not like, nah, like this 8 weeks is up, you got to go back, or whatever weeks it is. And now the wife is upset with the husband, or they don't know, but they want to stay home, blah, blah, blah. And it should have been more of a conversation. And this has happened. And I know some of y'all like, oh, they should have discussed that. Some people don't really kind of get into stuff like that. Like, they just figure we're in love, we're getting married, we're going to have a family, things are going to be great, blah, blah, blah. But such conversations as little as that, I'm going to tell y'all really, about that part for a second. When Brandon and I were dating, it's so funny because one of our first dates, we talked about this. Do you remember? And it was like, it was early though. It wasn't like a third day or something. It was literally, I think it was like the first week or something. Yeah. Like, we were just getting to, like, literally, Brandon and I, and you guys are probably like, y'all was fast. Like, no lie, like the first week of our dating, we were asking each other every question in the book. Because one, Some of y'all don't know this, but one, we met online. Yep, burst that bubble. Yep, it's possible. It's real. We met on MySpace. Gotcha. You thought it was going to be a little dating app. Nope, MySpace. Remember MySpace? Who remember MySpace?
That's throwback.
Throwback. We were like the only ones in Atlanta on MySpace, right? So we met on MySpace. So because of that, when we went on our first and second date, we were asking like every question in the book, like history, parents, goals, future things, because since we met online, he wanted to see, do I still keep talking to her? And I wanted to see, he wasn't really like my type of dude at the moment. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He wasn't like my style. So I was like, do I still see this guy? Like, he seems nice, but I wanted more. So I told him, I said, I don't know where this is going to go, but if we do ever get to a point in place that's what it is, I want to be home with my kids for at least the first 1 to 2 years. And he was like, oh, I agree. I love it. And that was a big kickoff for us to be like, we have that huge foundation in common. And that was big for us. A lot of marriages don't even realize y'all don't even have the same foundation beliefs.
And it goes into this book, and it talks about having also the same belief as your mate or your partner before you get married, or y'all see that y'all pretty much believe in God together as one. You can skip that one. I was just reading over it.
Well, it says it's vital, to get planning and get premarital counseling. Some of y'all that are married, if you did, chime in if you can, if you're on and you're able to comment. If you didn't, tell us how that's progressing, because I know it might be a little challenging.
Now
we did.
Yeah, we did Premarital Concern, which honestly, it was good. One reason it was good, it gave you a discount on your marriage license. That was one thing, right? And
the other reason, it was like, if we didn't have this wedding in a week, we would have been like, never mind, let's not do this.
So that's a good thing.
You find out a lot of stuff.
But a lot of people might not know that's on here today that it's some states that require premarital classes or counseling before you actually get married.
The pastor won't do it.
The church will not hold a ceremony if you do not take these classes or course before you marry, which is a good tool, I think. And the states that it really talked about, it's rare states like Oklahoma and certain states like that, which it kind of makes sense.
I think it's great. I think it's great because you guys don't realize what pre-marriage counseling is. I don't even know if we have the book, but they give they should, places give you like a book, and it's mainly like religion based, isn't it? Because premarital counseling is not just like, oh, let's talk about your mental state for your history. No, it's actually more like a religion based, and it's chapters, and it goes through intimacy, communication, trauma. It's a lot of steps, finances to get, like, listen, we went through finances in this class, and I was like, so you're telling me that once we get married, what we had separated is now one, even in finances? And they were like, yup. And it was so bad, and then I'm moving on. It was so bad, guys, and Brandon, you remember this, that I got up and I asked a question. Remember that? I was like, wait a minute. So you're telling me if I have property, and this was exactly the question, I have property and he does not, because we're married, I should, or it is supposed to be our property. And our pastor was like, yup. And I was like, you mean like the whole property, like the income, the profits? And they were like, yup. So that was a big thing for us, because without that, we didn't really know how to we wouldn't have known how to handle it. And then that also nips in the butt a lot of financial fights for when you're married, because we already are in the marriage knowing the financial stuff. So remember, finances is one of the number one reasons people get divorced, and sex. So this premarital counseling goes over that. So it's a big deal. And then it goes into I think I was reading over here, babe. Right here. However, we're on page 25.
Well, first it talks about, vital principles.
Applying these, okay, at the first pre-marriage counseling session, I give to couples a brief outline of 11 biblical principles that help to ensure a happy marriage. So listen, if you want a happy marriage, definitely listen in. Like, if you want to, because I'm going to tell you all right here, not every marriage is happy. Not every marriage is depressed. Not every marriage is bad. But when people ask, like, are you happy? You know, I know Brandon be like, I'm happily married. You know, some people are married and they're not fulfilled or happy. So if you do want a happy marriage, listen, applying these vital principles will improve anyone's marriage, whether that person is a believer in Christ or not. So again, it's not just about, oh, if you're a Christian, these are the principles to be happy. No, if you're just married, these are the principles that this author believes can improve the marriage. Number 1, reserve. Oh man, this one is great. Here, you do it, babe.
Number 1 is reserve to allow for a few weeks of uninterrupted time for a honeymoon. Again, reserve funds to allow for a few weeks, not a couple days, not 1 week, but a few weeks of uninterrupted time for a honeymoon.
We had a 2-week honeymoon, and it was amazing, and that was before we even read this book. Actually, 10 days, I should be exact. We had a 10-day honeymoon in Europe. We saved because we didn't spend $100,000 on a wedding. We saved. Our wedding was actually less than $5,000, all paid for cash. And of course, you know, gifts and things like that. And our honeymoon was absolutely less than $5,000. So it was less than, I want to say our wedding was less than $5,000 with the honeymoon. So that was incredible to be able to do that. What is the next one? So that's 1, right? Reserve funds for uninterrupted honeymoon. Then it goes down and says, however, there is a definite scriptural principle here. It is that the first few weeks of marriage are a crucial time for the young couple. To cheer up the wife means literally in the Hebrew to know sexually. You guys remember what know means? We talked about that the other day, right?
We talked about that
last time. Go watch our other first day. It's on our YouTube. What know means. If you just go sexually and understand what is equistically pleasing to her in the physical relationship, right? So it's a big deal to understand. You make your wife happy, to make her cheer, right?
So this is what he's saying. Basically, you're going to spend that time to really figure out what your wife likes.
Which you should be halfway there.
You know, sexually, you know, what does she want? What does she like? To please her and keep her happy, right?
That's a big deal.
And also, you know, biblically it says man should not go out to war, because this goes back biblically. It says man shouldn't go to war. You shouldn't be handling no business. You should actually just be spending that time with your wife, and you know, just going about life, enjoying her. You know,
enjoy all of me for 2-3 weeks, all of it, even for the whole life. Number 2, take notes. Number 1, save money for the honeymoon. Number 2, borrow no money. Owe no man anything but to love one another. Romans 13:8. Borrowing money before marriage or soon after is like adding another phrase to the marriage vows, till death do us part. In other words, let no money put asunder what God has put together. So this one is good. This one is deep, because some of y'all just blow past it. Oh, don't borrow money. Let's just have cash. You're not hearing it, though. You're not hearing it. This is saying, what is the number 1 cause of divorce?
Money, usually.
If you guys research this, finances is a high on the top 5 reasons of divorce or failed marriage. I believe it might even be 1. Honestly, I think it is. So this says, don't borrow money. You're eliminating borrowing money. If you don't have credit card debt, there's no argument about, babe, I have to work 13 jobs because I got to pay my credit card down.
Correct.
If you have a car paid for, you don't have to spend 2 jobs trying to pay off a car note and not spend time with your wife. We've seen these. Now that Brandon and I are becoming more into this, we are seeing these things.
Or, you know, it's some people that take a loan out just for the wedding.
Oh, that's a huge one. So
that's considered borrowing money. If you're taking a loan out for your wedding.
Listen, y'all know I'm for real. if you have taken money out for your wedding, please put a 1 if that's you, because I really want to understand, like let's talk. Did you not understand? Were you not educated? Was it just like, oh my gosh, I have to have this, $20,000 wedding, $50,000, $100? Like, where are you at? Because at the end of the day, for what we have been learning is, if you don't have the cash, you don't have it. Like, credit is not the same as cash. I don't care how people say, oh, cash and credit. No, do not owe anybody money. He goes into being so deep that he believes that if you want a car, and this was good, every month they pay themselves a car note. What that means is, for example, they'll take $350 every month, put it in a certain account. By the time it hits 20, 30K, whatever, you want a car for, they'll go and take that cash and go buy the car cash. Not in debt, not a monthly. Think about it, guys. Think about all your expenses right now. And we're being real, because we know marriages, some marriages don't want to talk about money. And we got to be real. Some marriages don't even talk to their spouse about money.
Or getting into a house. That
is, $300,000 and you can't even afford to have furniture.
Yeah.
Or pay the light bill. So let's think about it. What are your expenses? Your mortgage is an expense. It's not a liability. Some of y'all think, it's an expense. It's not an asset. It is. If you are paying your hard work and money for your mortgage, it's an expense. It's a liability. It's not an investment. Now, if it's an investment property, that's different, right? There's car notes. There is credit cards. There's school loans. All these things. Think about all these things. Think about if you guys can eliminate, if you were able to eliminate car note, mortgage, credit card bills. Let's say it's about $2,000 a month. You can eliminate all that, and you're able to just have the money that you're working for. How different would you and your spouse's life be? Would you not be vacationing more often? Would you not have more lunch dates? Would you not be investing more in businesses together to grow more money, to leave a better inheritance, and to build a bigger legacy? Like, we getting deep. Y'all really want me to get deep? That's like, this is not just, oh, don't borrow money from your uncle. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not what this is. Absolutely don't borrow money from your uncle. But this is bigger and is deeper than that picture. I tell Brandon all the time, like, we have, of course, there's houses out there that we're just like mansions and oh my gosh and ooh. But then I start thinking, like, babe, if you're looking at like $3,000 or $4,000 a month on just a house, and we have to kind of triple certain incomes, certain assets to just have that house, but then we're gonna be not around each other more. I don't want it. Like, Brandon knows, I'm cool with my 3-bedroom house. I'm okay with my 3-bedroom house. We're on an acre. We're living in the country. Like, we love it. I'm cool with what we have for the time that we're in, to be able to have more us versus now let's go get a bigger home. And now Brandon has to work more his businesses. I do. Then you don't see your spouse. Then now you're wondering why, and then it's a routine. It's a cycle. Problem. Yeah. What else?
I just highlighted that.
This one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Financial freedom gives you the power to utilize your money as you choose. Not as the money.
Excuse
Bless
me.
You. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Not as the money lender choose for you. Right?
Say it again.
Financial freedom gives you the power to utilize your money as you choose, not as the money lender chooses for you.
So,
and then it goes on to say, if you want to enjoy each other and find pleasure in your marriage, do not commit your funds to such extent that you do not have no available cash for the little things that are so much fun to do together.
Bam. What did I just say? Mm-hmm. Is that where you highlighted it? That's what I was just going over. He didn't even highlight this part. Because if you guys think, like it just said, you choose what you want to do with your money, not the credit card bill choosing what they want to do with your money. Because if you got $500 extra a month, let's just say, throw a number, I'm a numbers chick. Let's say you got $500 cash every month, just savings, right? Mm-hmm. I gotta pay $450 for my car note, or let's just say $300 for my car note, $200 in credit cards, and that's low. Because if you look at research, guys, credit card bills and statements for people are up in the hundreds. Like, one of my girlfriends called me one time. She was like, girl, I'm paying my student loan. I can't really do much right now. I was like, girl, how much is your loan? She was paying like $500-$600 a month. And then her car note was like another $600. And then the insurance, it was up to like $2,000 just between her car note and her school loans. And I'm serious. Like, this was one of my peoples. And I was like, yo, that's bananas. If she had the $2,000 liquid cash, you wouldn't think she would be out in somebody's Bahama Island somewhere with her husband. Or like you said, the little stuff. Let's do date night. Let's do bowling. Let's do a movie. And I'm not saying I got to be always spending money, because you could just stack up and buy y'all a beach property. But because your funds are limited, because now you owe and you have an assignment for your money without you being able to assign it, you done. So this is a big deal, man. Remember, these are principles if you want a happy marriage. If you do not want a happy marriage, don't listen to what we're saying about this book. If you're on here, guys, and you're like, no, I'm not doing this, or I want to go and work 13 jobs and I don't want to do date night. And okay, well, you don't want a happy marriage. Like, man, listen, you got me. Number 3. Oh my goodness, you gotta make me read it, right? Be independent of in-laws. Leave father and mother. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. However, you should not marry without their approval. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
So basically what this is saying right here is...
Speak on it.
Far as marital advice, right? Anybody on here that got kids, you know your kids, right? You know their tendencies. If you're around them often, you know how they are. You know what they like to eat. You know a lot of things about your kids. So what it's asking you is to give a good judgment on when your kid decide or your child decides to get ready to get married to the person they're marrying, right? It's nothing wrong with giving it. At the end of the day, it's their final choice, but you're giving them good advice because you don't want them to go into a bad situation starting off the marriage. And that's the last thing they're going to leave you with. Because after that, after you say your vows, they're pretty much out of the picture as far as you and your wife.
So they should be. This should be. Remember this. Should
be out of the picture.
Should be. Be independent of your in-laws. And you know, y'all, listen, we are open and we are transparent. And we don't hide if we're challenged in something. Like, that's what people need to understand. Because, you know, I don't want y'all to think, that we're doing this and we think we're perfect. No. We're doing this because we're imperfect, but we're imperfectly perfect. You see? You like that, right? And what that means is we do have our challenges. And the in-law part, it hits me. It hits home for me because being from a Hispanic culture, we are very close. And for all my Latinos in the building, y'all already know that there's no such thing as the mom ain't coming, or the daddy's not coming, or the cousin, or the auntie, or the sister. You know, it's always a mix of us. It's always, you know, mom said this, grandma said that, abuelita, and this and that. And then it's a whole mix of pot with a marriage. And it's like, they're not supposed to be there. And it's hard and it's difficult for our Hispanics because we think it's the opposite. We think as a culture, we all are supposed to always be one. When you're married, you're not one. And this is a hard thing because, like, in the especially my culture, like, especially being from Colombia, you go back home, you got all of us living in a house together. You got the 3 husbands, the 2 sisters, and then, you know, it's not my family, but there's some families that you find out somebody's kid ain't the kid that you thought was the kid because the uncle was up with one of the sisters 20 years ago. And we don't, you know, that's just family secrets, but it's because, I'm for real, it's because it just gets too much. And then as you grow into another culture, another marriage situation, Now you get caught up with, why is my mom in this? Or why is my dad in this? Or why is my sister in here? What is going on? It's not allowed. Like, cut that, nip it in the bud. We've been working on it. Brandon knows I'm an only child. It's difficult, but we're working on it. And you know, and let it be known. Let it be known, guys. I tell my family all the time. My husband is one. Y'all not in between it, next to it, in front of it, sideways. No, get away. Like, this is what he says. This is what we discuss. It is what it is, right? What is that? Oh, scared me. Number 4, declare moratorium on media for at least 1 year. Ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife. What does this mean? Be he all of one mind. I used to say simple. Do not get TV set for at least 1 year. Ooh, it will steal away those moments that you should be devoting to your mate, later to your family. Talk about it.
It also says there's no giving produce. Where is that?
There's no giving, no receiving. When you spend your time
watching TV.
So hey, y'all heard what that was? There's no giving, no receiving when you spend time watching television. No giving. So what are we giving? If you're watching TV, you're not about to get none. If that's what they talking about, because that's what I'm thinking. Some of y'all, you already know, some husbands and wives, y'all so comfortable when you come home, you have dinner, you throw on the news, you watch the show, the movie. Next thing you know, y'all both.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't even get enough. Not a whole week done went by. You still didn't get none.
What I'm getting from that is basically, you getting that. What I'm getting from it is you're really not getting any knowledge that is going to be valuable to your life and what you're going for. And it goes on to the next sentence. It says, television does not produce prime time. It steals your prime time as a couple.
Ooh, look at them nuggets.
So, you know, that's the thing right there. And there's so much other things that you could be doing. And it also talks about how you get into just your electronic devices. And it knows that we have, like, you know, you have your handheld phones, the smart, and all that stuff. So
when you mention the prime time, so again, it's kind of like the money thing, guys. When I hear marriages mention, oh girl, I just don't have time. I've been at work all day. I'm just gonna cook dinner. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. I'm doing. And the husband been working all night, 3 jobs, and all this stuff about why y'all not compatible in time together. But then I ask you about a Netflix series, and you done seen the whole series, which the series could have been a whole, if you really count, because Brandon be telling me, like he knows, when I got to do some work, and I got to stay up late for some occasions, I do put my series on. But I do it late when he sleep. That's one thing. I'm very, very careful with our time. And he be like, babe, that series, you've been watching that for weeks. Mm-hmm. And then you think, how much time, if one episode is an hour, right? I think it is. And you got 10 episodes and it's 4 seasons. You're in 5, 10, 15 hours, if you really calculate this, because I'm a numbers person. That's 15 hours. You done lost sleep. And it's not just, I'm not even talking about just a spouse. I'm saying it says you're losing prime time of good things. You lost sleep. Now you're more tired. You done miss doing some homework time with your kid. You done miss maybe going outside while your son was playing soccer. You done miss your husband might have been trying to, give you a massage or something. You too busy with a series. So if we were to be like, you know what? The time I'm watching this series, I tell Brandon, like, why don't we make our own series?
Or what basically, like you said, missing the prime time, and this is prime time for you as a couple, is really getting to know each other a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You always learn something new about each other as life goes on day to day. Yep. And it also talks off about newlywed couples, how they should actually shut off all electronic devices for 2 hours a day for at least a year.
How many of y'all do that? How many of you guys on here can turn your phones off for 2 hours a day? I won't say I can, because I've never tried this. That it would be a good project though.
It would be a good project.
But you got to also remember, even if you're doing this project for 2 hours, it says 2 hours as a couple. It does not say 2 hours and go take a nap, 2 hours and go play some ball outside, 2 hours and go cook and your wife is somewhere at the store. This is 2 hours intentionally as a one couple together. That's reading together, maybe getting some. Could be, I'm serious. It could be just sitting on the couch and talking.
And you know, the thing is, with this chapter, what is Finding God's Design? Mm-hmm. This chapter honestly really caters to the man and the husband more than the wife, and it gives us a lot of things that
maybe you could do one of these chapters on your men's site.
I might have to go over this again. And it also says about the turning off the TV and getting away. It says first study the scripture, then study your wife. Dwell with her.
Be totally at ease together with full knowledge of each other. This is what marriages is all about. So guys, and I know some of y'all like, all I think about is sex, right? This book is about sex. Intended for pleasure. Sex techniques and sexual fulfillment in a Christian marriage. This is saying, it's not just me tripping. It's not just me, oh, it's us time. Let me get some. Oh, there's no movie. Let me get some. Oh, we about to play a game. And then let me get some. That's not what I'm saying. This is what the Bible and what the book is confirming. Because if you have that intimacy, you have the communication, you have that love, that support, the attention, the respect, the commitment, it all goes to your sexual tension, your intimacy. Come on, guys, like marriage, sex is marriage. Like that's what love is bringing. That like people, like it said in the chapter earlier, people separate sex and marriage. Yeah. Like why are we doing that? Like sex is marriage. Like in a sense.
Like you said, basically
study the word.
The word.
What word?
Whatever your religious word is, study that, right? Then study your wife and dwell with her. Spend time with your wife as you do this, right?
You might go to the Psalms where it talks about the breast.
So this is where what was that? That was the fourth principle, and this is where it talks about this. Pretty much, don't let society dictate your marriage. You know, as far as the influence that society can have with just TV. Number 5.
Never go to bed with an unreconciled relationship. Look at God.
Yes.
Basically, don't ever go to bed angry.
Yes.
Don't ever go to bed angry. Don't ever go to bed disappointed. Don't ever go to bed just not talking. I've told Brandon this the other day. I was like, you really about to go to sleep and not say nothing? Like, you're not even going to say, my bad, sorry, I should have did that. Even if you don't want to apologize, you really, like, I stopped him. He was like, and I was like, you really sleep? Yeah. Like, you really, like, just sleep?
Yes. And look.
What do you mean, yes?
I'm going to be yes, because we got to be straight transparent. Now, they say not to do this, but it has happened. You get what I'm saying? It has happened. Just being realistic. Like, it's like, you know what? You done. That was,
not messing with you.
Not messing with you right now.
But I will say, though, piggyback off of that.
We will pray about it before we go to bed, though.
Sometimes. Not all the time. You might do it to yourself. But I know recently we was like, no.
Let me tell you what happens, right?
Oh, God.
Let me tell you what happens, right?
Let me talk about my first part. What I was going to say, piggybacking off of that is, there's the times, like this says, don't ever go to bed angry. So I'm going to give y'all a great scenario. Is this what you was going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say.
So I was upset the other night with Mr. Barker. And I was like, I'm not messing with you. I'm not messing with you tonight. I'm not dealing with you. I'm not rolling with you. I'm not. Like, I'm good. This dude thought he was going to do his thing and just slide in the bed and try to get some. And I was like, pause. I'm not feeling you. I'm good. I told him, dude, I'm not messing with you. I'm good. Not straight. I'm out of the zone. I'm in a whole nother zone. I'm in a night zone. But Mr. Barker wanted to continue to insist and try to talk to me and try to, you want me to rub you? You want me this? You want your massage today? And he wanted to throw all the tricks in the hat. And I was like, no, I'm good. And he's like, come on. So finally, after he semi-apologized, I don't even think he apologized. He was just talking all, sexualness. I finally was like, okay. And I will say, wives, remember that conversation I discussed a while ago with the makeup sex? It's kind of one of those scenarios where I was like, yo, this is what I got to do for you to, A+++++. You got an extra credit bonus on this session? Let me be angry again tomorrow and you come back and say you sorry in this way. Because I was like, this is popping. I'd rather do this than go to bed angry.
No, that's not.
So that's just saying for not to go to bed angry.
And so when also, now the thing is, the experience with this, right? If we had a heated discussion before we went to bed, and we're both in our feelings, because that's what happens. You both get in your feelings.
You get
right?
pride.
And I told her this, right? I actually told her this, right?
Sorry, guys.
So I get in my feelings, she get in her feelings. So we not on the same page, right? But
how many of y'all been there? How many of y'all marriages been there?
Everybody been there. If they haven't, they playing around. So look, I'm praying about the situation.
What day was this?
This was probably a couple weeks ago. So I'm praying about it. But what I'm praying is, God forgive me, and stuff. And what God is telling me is, you should be telling her this instead of telling me this. But I'm so stubborn.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm so stubborn.
So stubborn.
He's
a Leo, guys.
I'm praying to God about and so I told her, I got up. I was like, you know what? I prayed about it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm apologizing to God, but God keep telling me, I need to tell you sorry. Instead of doing all this prayer, God, forgive me.
He was trying hard, maybe if I say another sentence, you might not want me to go to her about this. I'm sure you do remember that. I remember that. And I was just sitting there dude, you want some now? Is that what we're doing? This is what's happening? Because if that's what we get into. And he was trying so hard not to talk to me because it was late. And then he came and was like, all right, babe. He told me, I was praying. I told him I'm sorry, but it was really talking to you. And he told me to come to you. And I was like, look at God telling you to come to me. But it was good. It was good. So if you guys are just chiming in, we're intended for pleasure. These are, how many principles?
I think
11 principles to ensure for a happy marriage. Remember that. So number 1 was reserve funds to allow for a few weeks of uninterrupted time for honeymoon. Number 2, borrow no money. Number 3, be independent of the in-laws. Number 4, declare moratorium on media for at least 1 year. So that means say no to social media for about a year for 2 hours a day.
Or television.
Yeah. Number 5, never go to bed unreconciled relation. Number 6, never go to bed. Yep, that's what it is. Number 6, seek outside spiritual counsel if unable to resolve a major conflict within a week.
Whoa.
Big.
Say that again.
Seek outside spiritual counsel. So not just your average therapist. Spiritual, maybe your pastor, your priest, your deacon, your what else? Whatever religion you're in, seek the mentor, right?
Yeah.
If unable to resolve a major conflict within a week. Not 3 months, not 6 months, not a year. Seek spiritual counsel within a week.
If it's a major
conflict, huge money, adultery, lying, because lying can become huge. Just huge. If you're just I haven't talked to my spouse all week,
And it's that big?
And it's that serious? If you guys really can't come to one or come to apologize, or like I said, for number 5, go to bed unreconciled, seek counseling. After that week, now you start going into anger. Now you start going into resentfulness. Yeah. Now you start going into, now you withholding the sex. We talked about that. Or now you're doing the payback thing. It gets worse and worse and worse.
Like,
and
you
again,
gotta do it. I can do it now.
Exactly. And then again, if you don't want a happy marriage, you don't have to do this in a week. If you're stubborn and you're like, nah, I'm gonna wait a month if I don't talk to her. Okay, you want an unhappy marriage. And I'm gonna say direct, because the whole month you're gonna be unhappy. Like the whole month you're gonna be going back and forth with arguing or giving each other the side, not getting none,
or keep bringing the situation back up and it's not being resolved.
Deep. Number 7, seek counsel if the wife is constantly unable to attain a good sexual release. Woo!
Fellas.
Where was I in this part? Where was I?
Fellas.
For the men. Let me repeat one more time for the women in the back. Seek counsel if the wife is constantly unable to attain good sexual release. Y'all remember the other night when we talked about why sex is important, one of the researchers that I've looked into mentioned that it's harder for women to have an orgasm. That's just what it is. Guys, y'all just not all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So, this is for adults only, rated R today. So, guys, wives, if you are not having a release, an orgasm, all the stuff, all that, seek counseling. Like sexual counseling, individual, there might be trauma.
And this says consistently unable. So this is a consistent thing that's carrying on. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like you came today and then 6 months later you didn't have an orgasm, then you had another one, and then another 3 months you had another one. No, we're talking about like them suckers need to be coming back to back on a monthly basis. Yeah. Listen, and if not, this is why it says seek counseling. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband hath not power over his body. So Brandon says this a lot. Brandon loves this. He'd be like, that's my body.
And so
I do what I am.
So also it says, do not defraud one another either.
So like when you lie,
or you faking it,
like you faking it, like if you're like, especially wives. Like, I met somebody that was like, girl, I was with my dude, I ain't do nothing for years. I ain't orgasm for years. I was like, for years? And you never cheated? Which you shouldn't. But, I'm just saying. They wasn't married, though, so, Number 8. We're almost there. What time is it? Because I want to make sure we're good. Okay, good. Number 8. Have Bible study together every day. This is just simple. Simple, easy peasy. Wherever you do, whatever you read, have Bible, have that culture, religion time together. And man shall not live by bread alone.
And so what this is basically saying, like I told you in the beginning, this chapter is really speaking to the husbands and the marriages, because it's telling you to guys, you got to initiate this. You got to initiate this in your household. If you saw what I talked about in the first chapter, it says we're the head of the household, but we also are the ones that really keep it together. And, like I told you before, I never thought that because, coming from, my mom, she was the main one in the household. She implicated the beliefs and stuff like that. And you saw women that always put stuff together. So this is telling the man that you got to initiate how your family really wants to be ran, far as religiously, and start studying whatever word that what you worship, studying the word that you worship religiously, and that's how everything falls into a domino effect, and it goes from you to your wife to the kids, and this right here carries on a strong tradition and strong relationship with God.
So this right here says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having a spot or wrinkle or any such thing. Then we go down and says, it is our responsibility to place before our wives and our families the word of God. That's priority. We've been saying this, right? Number 9. So it's a big deal, right? Keeping the Bible and the foundation, keeping the word, keeping God, keeping love, keeping the togetherness, and reading the Bible together. I think that's awesome. We were doing it at a time, and we did see a big shift in our marriage when we were doing it. We got to get back into it. We even also do, from time to time, we do marriage plans on the Bible app. And he could, share with me, I could share with him, and we can add together quotes and things like that from the Bible and read. So it's really good. Number 9, the husband, see, this is why he was saying the husband, right? The husband must be 100% committed to loving his wife. The wife must be 100% committed to being submissive. As the husband loves his wife, she's willing to be submissive to him. Now, this is probably, I think we might stop here.
Yeah, we're going to stop here.
I am going to talk about it, though, because we got like 10 minutes. Because there's a really big stigma out there when it comes to the word submissive, being submissive to your husband, submit to your husband. And a lot of women are quick to, I'm not submitting, I'm not submissive, I'm not this. That was me. I was that wife too, right? Or the fiance. Because I swore I was like, submissive? Who is submitting? Submitting what? Submitting application or something? Like, what are we submitting? We're not submitting anything. And when we went to premarital counseling, that week was the hardest week for me. Because we learned a lot of information on what submission really is as a wife. And I was like, what? I gotta do all that as a wife? Like the whole the whole real deal. And
you can see in this chapter we highlighted
a lot of stuff, right? And it got deep because I had to understand that even though there's times he's not the best, I'm still submitting. Because no matter what, like chapter what are we in? Chapter 8 said, before this, chapter 8 said, read the Bible together. I knew when I learned through our church, that if we're in the Bible together, or if he's reading the Bible and he's doing the word on a daily basis or weekly or, continuously, his heart should be changed or guarded differently, which means he will be more the man of God, the image of God. So he's going to be directing his role to God, right? His head, his eyes, his focus to God, which is the love. So then I can come behind him, and it's more like I'm not submitting to my husband, but I'm submitting my love and my behaviors and actions to God. Y'all got that? Wives? Because for me, I didn't understand that. I was like, submitted to who? It got deeper. It is deeper than just, oh, I'm submitting to Brandon. Oh, I'm submitting to my husband. And it's not slavery.
No.
Remember this. And this is, I might, you know what? Boom. I might have to do a women's call about this. Submission and slavery are two different things. I'm not his slave just because I'm submitting to him. He's not going to treat me like a slave because I'm submitting to him. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I might serve him. I'm going to submit, serve, and slave. 3 different things. And that's a good topic. Yeah. That's a really great topic. I do. Can I get a paper and a pen? Because I'll be saying this, then I forget. What else you highlighted so we could finish this part and then go from there?
So also, basically, like you said, as far as a husband, you're submitting, and the way you submit under God is the way you should, that's the way your wife will follow. The way you submit unto God, right? That's the way your wife will follow, right? So that's the way, that's also what my wife Jennifer is trying to tell you guys. The way the husband also submit to God is the way that the wife will follow to submit to him, right? So this conversation is a little bit deeper. So we're going to actually...
Wait, what?
You can go ahead.
I was just going to read this question. What does it mean for a wife to be in submission to her husband? The word submit comes from a military term that actually means to move in an organized manner, to do an assigned job in an assigned way. But in the marriage relationship, the term submission in the Bible is always used in the middle of passive voice in the original Greek. The voice in Greek is significant because it indicates whether someone is imposing the submission or whether submission comes from within. Submission that a wife gives her husband is a free gift that springs up from within the wife, like life-giving water bubbling up from a fresh well, not something imposed through intimidation or other outside force. So submission is not forceful. Like Brandon is not like, oh, bend over and bring me them shoes.
Oh, you better go get that.
Yeah, you better. That's mine. And no, that's not what it is. He might joke around and be like, that's my body. And, he might say them little slick, smart comments. But it's not like he's being a military, forceful thing. Submission is the most important gift a wife can give her husband. That's deep. If I'm giving Brandon the whole role of a submitted wife, he knows he's being the man of God. He knows he's following God's love. If Brandon feels like, hold up, Jen tripping, the respect ain't there, the attitude, he knows, because it happens. We're not perfect. It happens. Like the other day, it happens. He stops and checks himself because he's done it, and this is what we're learning. He's told me, like, Dad, babe, I shouldn't have done or said blah 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 because it took me to a whole nother person where that's not what it was, not godly, it's not Christian, and then it took you out of your level to a different place. So it's all him. That's why, like, when they say in the household, the man is the head, the man is the king, the man is this, the man is this, submit to the man, because it's all him. It's God, man, wife. And it's deep. That's why we're like, this is done for tonight. Because it's God, man, wife. We submit to man to get through man to God. And it's further than just, go make his breakfast. No, that's a slave. I'm serving. I submit to my husband because I'm coming to him as he's the man, the king. He's the one going to God, like for me in a sense, right? What else? While the husband is giving love, giving every bit of energy. So this is all husband. You might need to do this too on a men's call, babe.
I told you this morning.
While the husband is giving love. So see how Brandon is, like, we understand that this is more husband. It's saying the husband, the husband, the husband. Why? Because, like, we read in the first chapter, or the other day, what was it that you realized that the man has the house together, not the wife? What was that?
It was in the first chapter where
first chapter, right? So it's the man, the husband. When we talk about Adam and Eve, it's Adam that got the rib, right? Like, listen, y'all really got to get deep with this stuff. While the husband is giving love, giving every bit of energy, every bit of knowledge that he possesses to do that which is best for his wife and family, the wife is to respond to that love, adoration, and provision.
And I like that what it said right there. It says giving every bit of energy and knowledge that he possesses. And I had this call about a couple weeks ago on the YouTube talking about, are you educating your wife on finances? Are you educating? Because a lot of wives don't know nothing about the finances that their husband are handling and the business that they handle. Can the business be ran smoothly if you're not there? Can your wife step into the role of your business that you have going on and be able to fill the shoes and not miss a beat? And so I like when it said give every energy, give the knowledge, every bit of knowledge, not some knowledge, but all the knowledge that you have, right? Because y'all one. So she should also know as much as you know.
It shouldn't be a scenario where one or the other has a hidden finance account. One or the other, does certain finance things, and the other one, they get it. They'll find out. I'll tell them another time. Yeah, he does this, so I'm going to do this.
Well, she's going to be set straight, whatever.
No.
So,
if these two attitudes of love and submission are ignored, difficulty possible, disaster looms ahead. So ignoring the submission ignoring the man's role, ignoring the helping the wife. Because yes, I'm a helper, but he has knowledge. He's the man. I kind of call it like the plug to God. Like he right there. Like he could just call him because he's right there. I am too, but it's God, man, woman. Like that. Like y'all really got to know the circle, the triangle from when it comes to God and marriage and stuff, right? What else? If love and submission are put into action, a wonderful marriage will result. Because God says very simply that this is the way He designed it. So this is how we're gonna finish. Because again, if you want a wonderful and happy marriage, this is how God designed it. So God is saying, wife, submit. God is saying, husband, help your wife with wisdom. God is saying, wife, be the helper. God is saying, husbands, make sure your wife has an orgasm. God is saying, wives, don't withhold. Both of y'all don't have adultery. This is all the design that God wants your marriage. Now, if you're doing these things, like they said at the beginning, these principles, this is His design. If you're doing His design, you're going to have His way of life. It's going to be love, abundance. It's going to be just a great, perfect image of the love, right? So we're not done. We're actually going to do on Friday, number 10, which is the husband is to be head of his wife. 11, and the wife see that she reference her husband. Those two, even the one that we did today was submit. These really last three are huge. Like, yes, finance is important. Yes, the orgasm thing is important. The not going to bed fighting is important. Yes. But the top main, like submission, the husband is the head and all that stuff, that's big. Because I feel that if you don't understand that the husband is the head of the house and you're supposed to submit to your husband, you're not fully 100% in I guess together. Yeah,
and that's just basically honoring.
Like, it's pointless. I feel that with those 2-3 topics, it's pointless to sit here and talk about communication, talk about finances. Because why would I talk about finances to a marriage, but you're saying in your as a marriage, it don't matter what you're saying, Jen, about money, because I have my own money. I don't tell him nothing. He does his own thing. I run the house. If he feels like saying something, then it is what it is. Because that's submitting, and that's the head of the house. That destroys everything, like the whole purpose. You have to submit. Like, it's hard, but we submit. He's the head of the house. Everything else falls into place. So doing the Bible together, the committing to one, the focus, the orgasm thing, the all that stuff goes into that.
Even come going down to like even disciplining the kids and stuff like that.
Oh man, the head of the house. That's huge.
So that's up to the man to handle that situation as far as everything. How things need to be handled on that aspect. So Friday night, it's going to be a whole lot of the discussion with submitting. Thursday.
Tomorrow. Oh, we're doing tomorrow because I'm not doing my ladies' night. I like my ladies' night. We
can hold off.
Yeah, we can do Friday.
All right.
Why not Friday? I want to do Friday night.
So what you doing for ladies' night tomorrow?
I might do submit. We might need to talk about this submit, ladies.
What you said?
Serve, submit, and slave.
Oh, that's a good one.
I might have to get real deep, and I might got 2 little sleeve people up my sleeve. 2 people. I got a few very submitting individuals that I can a few of my friends. I might get some girlfriends.
Some bold women.
I got some bold girlfriends that go deep when it comes to God and religion and submission and serving and slaving. So I think that's what we do for tomorrow night. Right. So tomorrow night, guys, listen. If your husband want to get, your husband always be getting on my live. Get your wives. We're gonna be talking about. I am gonna do it. Submit, slave, and serve. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna be looking up some submit stuff. I might discuss some of these things from today. I'm gonna go over serving the spouse. I'm gonna talk about the differences. I'm going to talk about the values, all these different things. So tomorrow night, ladies night, I am going to do it. And then we'll do Friday, the last 2 of
Finding God's Design.
The God's Design, the last principles of a happy marriage. Because we want to be happy. We want to be, what's the other word they said? Wonderful. Is that what they said? Yeah, wonderful and happy, right? Happily married. So listen, guys, thank you for getting on. It was so good tonight.
Yeah, so good. Hey, guys, don't forget to go to our Instagram page, Marriage Porn, marriage.p.o.r.n.
And don't forget, if you, on Facebook and even Instagram, if y'all have us, we're going to put our YouTube on the Facebook. So you guys could go to the Facebook. You can share this. Like, this is a big conversation intended for pleasure. We're going to put it on the Facebook. Subscribe, like, share, do whatever y'all want. The point is to uplift marriages, empower them. Our empowerment program starts May 15th, so we're super excited about that. It might, it should be okay because we might have some other surprises. And just go check us out. Working on our other website, working on different things. With Brandon. So we're excited, guys. Thank you for hopping on. Share. Like, and have a blessed night. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.